Alright folks, what is up? This is One Big Bugger and I am coming at you with Euro Truck Simulator 2. I decided to record more for two reasons. Number one, no, three reasons. Number one, I'm actually kind of excited about this long trip that we have ahead of us with this trailer. Almost 3,000 kilometers, I think it is. Number two, I want to talk about what happened today with the FCC. It's no big surprise. And number three, I am enjoying the game a bit more now. I'm kind of getting back into it. And there is a fourth reason, something I'll talk about. Not a bad thing, but something I'll talk about um, as we get going. Yep, so we've got our job market. Look at that, almost 3,000. It's 2,500, but whatever. It's still going to be a long, long drive. So, first thing I want to talk about FCC. The two Democrats voted against, the three Republicans voted for. No big surprise. Uh, we all knew this was going to happen. The Democrats basically lambasted the Republicans for, really? Okay. For ignoring um, the public outcry, because the FCC is supposed to be for the public. They're supposed to protect the public. They're supposed to be there for the public's interest, not for business interest. And this is a thinly veiled business interest behind, public interest. Really? Okay. Behind lies, oh, it's for public interest. No, it's for business interest. You just took the reins off of big business to do whatever they want with internet access. There's no regulations anymore. So right now, larger corporations like Amazon and Google are looking into possibilities of taking the motion to court, while other organizations are coming together and saying they are taking this decision to court. One of the Democrats even lambasted, I'm just going to call him Pile of Shit because that's basically what his name turns into. Um, Pajit, I believe. Pile of Shit. Um, oh, I forgot to get, well, it's alright. I'll get gas on the highway. I really love to take that trailer, but, you can't turn down a job like this. Um, One of the Democrats actually brought out three overstuffed folders with literally hundreds upon hundreds of letters sent in by citizens, basically demanding and asking and talking about net neutrality. Um, it's like I said, everything went exactly as according to plan. The Republicans didn't give a rat's ass about the public. They didn't give a rat's ass about the people. They didn't care about the literal hundreds of protests that happened across all 50 states. They didn't care about anything and everything. They just rescinded it anyways because three Republicans on an FCC committee appointed by somebody who's out to protect big business, being Donald Trump. At least I believe that's how it works. I know somebody appoints these idiots. They're not elected. Um, no better than experts and public and they know better. Big business will regulate itself. We've seen what happens when big business tries to regulate itself. They only care about one thing: greed. They've only ever cared about one thing: greed. Did I go the wrong way? I went the wrong way. Oops. Well, that's all right. We just added on to the trip is all. We're from 2,500 to 2,800. Well, if that's the case, this is a two-lane road. Can I just turn around? There's got to be a spot up here where I can just turn around. Ah, hell, that will be fine. Probably want my lights on. So yeah, anyways, I've already sent a letter to Xfinity/Comcast, my provider Nest, and a feedback and said, yeah, how long will it be before I start seeing these packages that if I want access, how long will it be before I start seeing blocked websites because they're not partnered with you anymore? Because they're not partnered with you or they haven't paid a premium. How long before I start seeing throttled internet? How long before I have to start paying for not to have a cap on my internet access? You know, how long before I have to start um, how long before I have to start paying for higher caps? Right now your internet's pretty much uncapped here in the United States. How long before I start having data caps? How long before I start having um, oh, not this again. Please stop. Come on. It's always loading something that does that. Alright. Alright, you see how you can see through the terrain, and we ran into that invisible wall, that roadblock. I went and I looked on ProMods. That is a known thing right now. It's a known thing that came out with this version of ProMods. I just want to touch on this real quick. There is no newer update right now. They are working on right now. I think the release version of ProMods is 2.25. They're working on 2.26 to address these issues. The invisible wall, they call it, it's not so invisible. It's terrain that stretches over. It's impassable terrain that stretches over the highway, and whatnot. And then the see through the sides of the mountain. They're working on it. So I didn't report it. They've got enough reports. So I basically just sent in to Comcast, and I said, you don't care that I struggle and live paycheck to paycheck. You don't care that I'm a PCA, that I live at home and work at home to take care of my mother, and that I pay $200 or nearly $200 a month for cable, internet, and phone. You don't care that I pay for one of your best cable packages because my mother has specific shows and channels that she likes to watch and that make her smile and bring her joy, which is one of the few things that make her laugh in the day. You don't care that I pay for a premium internet package because at the end of the day, I like to have high speed and I like to have, um, I kind of need the high speed that I have, and I need my computer and my internet's the only way I can connect to friends and to people I love, like Chana and Vana. It's the only way, you know? Apparently I'm taking a different ferry. I'm cool with that. Is it turning me around? I tried to avoid that. I saw it coming at the last second. It's turning me around. I should have just turned around when I had the chance. Oh well. But we're going over here. Yeah, I know. Signs. I botch things regularly. If it didn't have such a long load time, I would just load up right now. Honestly would. But I said, you don't care about, you know, that my computer is my only saving grace in life. It's the only thing that brings me any joy or pleasure at the end of a long day. It's the only thing that makes me smile and keeps me sane. Without my computer, I would literally go nuts. I honestly would. The games and the contacts it allows me to keep, you know? Sign. Keep forgetting this is a bigger trailer than what I've been hauling. Kind of a shame we're not going that way, but well, we don't want to go too fast here. We need to make this corner. I went on this. I don't, you know, you don't care that my wife died 2 years ago, and I'm still dealing with the stress and the loss of that. And I do. There are plenty of times I sit here and I think about my wife, and I tear up about her, and I cry about her. It hurts to be sitting here alone. You don't care about any of that. The only thing you care about as a major uh, corporation that provides internet access is how can I get more money to pad my already overstuffed wallet? It's all you care about is how can I get more money? The only thing I am to you is a dollar sign. You don't care about me, and you don't care about your hundreds of thousands or millions of other customers. You don't. You just care about the almighty dollar and how you can get more of them. And now that you have no more regulations and no more rules, you're going to start pushing the envelope. And need I remind you of just how bad things can get when companies go unchecked? How long ago was it when big banks and big businesses like car manufacturers like GM, Ford, and Mopar, Chrysler, Dodge, were on the verge of bankruptcy and had to be bailed out by the government in order to not fail? How many big banks would have failed if the government hadn't stepped in and rescued them, which the government shouldn't have? The government should have let the big banks that were failing fail and should have saved the people. The money they spent saving the banks, they should have spent on saving the people that were in trouble and let the banks fail. That was done because nobody was paying attention to the banks. Nobody was paying attention to the car dealerships who were making and cutting deals with people who did not have the credit or the income to support the deals they were getting. They just didn't. And so more and more and more people would default. And when you default on something, that doesn't mean you're done with it. You still owe on it. If your car gets repossessed because you haven't been able to pay on it, that doesn't mean you're done. You still owe that money. No, no. Your car gets repoed and you still owe that money on that car. So all the banks that put out all of that money for homes that would get repossessed, they couldn't sell them because people couldn't afford them. And they were selling them to people who couldn't afford them in the first place. And I know there was more to it than that, but that's a very, very, very general basics. Car companies too, just bankrupt. And stricter rules and regulations had to be put in place to prevent that from happening again. You need more proof than you only need look at video games right now. Electronic Arts, Activision, uh, Warner Brothers. How about these guys, huh? How about these guys slowly and continuously pushing the envelope, slowly and continuously pushing the envelope for more and more gambling, more and more ways to squeeze even more and more money out of its consumers. And until they pushed it too far. And now EA's lost over $6 billion. Star Wars Battlefront is one of the most infamous games out there, to the point that Disney had to step in and tell EA to knock it the fuck off. You know? That's how bad it got. And it's not just EA's fault. EA's just the one that got caught. EA's the one that finally burst the bubble. You know, this has been, the envelope's been pushed little bit by little bit by little bit by everybody. From games being released unfinished to start. Games that come out unfinished and at a lot of times woefully unfinished. Why do they do this? Because they can get away with it. Because they can patch it. Because they can continue work on development while it's out. And the fact that the United States right now has no refund policy. There's no federal or even state refund policy when it comes to video games. There's none. Well, not video games per se. When it comes to electronic purchases, any digital purchase, any purchase that does not have a physical thing. So, if I bought something from Amazon, a hat, I can get a refund on it if it shows up damaged or defunct or something of that nature. On the flip side, there's digital purchases, video games, or if you commission someone to draw an artwork, or you buy a program online that you can download. If it doesn't work, if the person doesn't deliver properly, um, on Steam, I don't know how many games out there. Yeah, this is really stupid. As I said. Especially that there was, turning into a highway up here, but okay, whatever. With as many shovelwares and bad games that there is out there, and there's a lot. There's quite a lot. There's a lot of shitty games out there. A lot of people have bought into early access games thinking that, the big promises are kept and that the original stuff that they were shown is, hey, looks pretty good. And then the person decides, you know what, nah, I'm not going to do it. Or the stuff is just a big lie, or it's shovelware, or whatever. You can't get a refund. Or, there's a very, very, very ungraceful refund policy set in place by Steam, but hey, something's better than nothing. I try not to look a gift horse in the mouth when it comes to that, because it wasn't that long ago we had nothing. If you've owned the game less than 2 weeks, and if you've owned the game less than 2 weeks and you've played it for less than 2 hours, then you can get a refund. But see, the thing is, they don't have to do that because there's no law stating they do. So, like I said, it's something. It's better than nothing. Unlike Britain, which has laws, which is why things will be released in the United States and they'll even be released in Asia and whatnot, but they won't be released in the UK. They won't be released in the UK sometimes up to a month or more later. Why? Because they're not done enough. Where the publisher knows that people will probably start demanding refunds. So they won't release it in the UK, but they'll release it everywhere else because, hey, these people can't get refunds. And that's where it started with unfinished games. I gotta go this way. And then it went into DLC, downloadable content, which at first was kind of okay. But then they started with Day 1 DLC. Day 1 DLC was often stuff that should have been included in the game. And then they started with DLC that should be part of the game to begin with because it is part of the game. It's not actually DLC, it's part of the damn game. Big proof of that most recently comes through Shadow of Mordor, where there's a DLC that includes 2 orc tribes and story mode and whatnot. Or not story mode, but quest, I believe, some extra quests and whatnot, that by all accounts should be part of the damn game. And if you want that, it's another freaking $40-$45. $40-$45 for 2 new tribes and some extra quests, when you've already paid $60 for the full game. And then there's all the loot boxes that you can buy inside. You see where I'm getting? So DLC, and the DLC that was supposed to be part of the game, games were coming out and they just kept pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. And then finally EA pushed it too far and the bubble burst. And now people are starting to look at regulations in video games. Hawaii in particular being a big leader because Hawaii is very anti-gambling. Which is why Las Vegas is the #1 destination for most people vacationing out of Hawaii. No joke. Really? So every time I get some momentum up, this shit happens. I mean, I wonder if I could just go down that side and blow through without having to do this and save myself the money. My mom took the dogs out and left the outside light on. She does this a lot. Oops. Yep, a couple vehicles hit. She does this a lot. She's leaving lights on a lot. It gets a little bothersome because anything over $150 for the electric, we have to pay. So if the electric is like 190, we have to pay $40 like we had to do last month. Now the explanation for last month is my girlfriend was here, her laptop was on all the time, and Thanksgiving I had the oven on overnight and I had it running, even though it was low, it was running all night and then all day, so that could easily jack the price of the electric up. So yeah, fine, but right now, you know, it's like, oh, come on, really? You left a light on outside. She leaves the bathroom lights on, she leaves kitchen light on. It's like, Mom, turn the lights off. Just turn them off. Once in a while I will leave them on. I'm not guiltless of it, but not nearly as bad as she is. One of the things I wanted to talk about is I'm not doing the greatest at keeping track of my bills, apparently. I thought I still owed on my cable bill. I thought I didn't pay it, which is very much unlike me. I thought I didn't pay my cable bill. So I called up the cable company and asked them to extend my due date to the 23rd when I get paid next, and I'll pay $50 right now in good faith. Oh yeah, sure, no problem. They extended my due date to the 23rd. I went and I paid $50, only to realize, big test. Do I get in trouble? Oh no, I can just auto pay through. I live with that. Cool. But, ooh, hello, stay on the road. Guy never once looked at my bill. And then I went and looked back at my bill and found out that I'd actually paid on the 8th and my bill was due on the 15th. I paid my bill in advance. Because the amount that was due on the bill is the amount I paid. So I went and I'd already paid the $50. So I'm looking and I actually have a credit on my account, not just the $50 I paid. Apparently, I'm like way ahead. My upcoming due bill is $216, and I think I've got like 319 credit. Mine is 216. I've got almost $100 extra on my account. So when my next cable bill... Oh, fuck off. When my next cable bill comes up due, I'm going to look and I'm going to call and I'm going to have somebody call me and I'm going to talk to them and I'm going to ask about, I'm looking at this and it looks like I have about $100 credit on my account. So does that mean that this upcoming bill I only owe 70 something? Shouldn't be over, my own stupidity. Come on. My own stupidity drove me a good bunch of kilometers out of the way, but we shouldn't be too far from the ferry now. So I hope not. I have really been getting back into this game a bit. I've been feeling the want to play it. Especially, we've got a good sized trailer and we got a really long trip ahead of us. Those are the things I really like. I'm not happy with myself for going the wrong way, for getting into an accident, incurring a speeding ticket, and running over some signs. I always endeavor to do better, but I always seem to just go, you know what, fuck it. I really wish I wouldn't. It's not a good attitude to have. One thing I really want to do is upgrade the chassis on my truck over the cab. The cab don't need to be really upgraded on this, just because it's already got a good cab on it. I just want to upgrade the chassis. I just don't like 2x4 chassis. I like having that extra axle for stability, for hauling. Like right now, if I tried one of those special cargo hauls, I mean, I could probably do it because I believe the trailers have front and rear axles. Rear axles. Apparently, we we're in the fifth grade now, where we can't say our R's. Rear axle. Rear axles and front and rear axles. So you don't actually have the weight of the trailer on your truck. You're just towing the trailer. But still, 4x2 or 2x4, whatever you want to call it, is not the greatest of ideas to tow those trailers with. Wait. Move. Really? Escape is not what I meant to hit, but it'll work. Because we can pull up the map. Game, where are we at? We are not near... We are not near the ferry at all. And we're not even taking this ferry. We're taking this ferry. I could take this ferry. I could take this ferry to here and then come across this way, down, down, and then across. But probably not the fastest route. In other words, we're going to end up resting. Not paying attention to what gear I'm in. I thought I was in 12th. Try not to get too stupid today and have to drive at 160 some odd kilometers an hour in order to find a rest stop, try to avoid sleep. 4% on the truck. 1% trip. God damn it. I'm not gonna, it's whatever. Hopefully there'll be a garage along the way and I can just fix it. It's not a bad damage. It pisses me off, it's not my fault. But it's not bad. So now we need our next available rest stop. There's gas stations up here which will have rest stops. Fine, that's where we'll stop. I'm sorely tempted to pull off at this and get my 4% fixed and then continue onward. Really good chance I'll do that. Can't move over yet, not unless I'm getting off the highway here. Yes, you can quit yawning. Your rest stop's right up here. Flake. I'm feeling like, yeah, there should be, I don't know if it'll let me. There we go, there's truck parking right here. Income, loan installment. We've got to level up. Income. So we've got at least one level up. So you don't have anything here or here. You don't have anything there. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave you guys still. Okay. All right. I want to set my own. There. And then that'll put us back on course. Okay. I do not like having my truck damaged, even a little bit. I am very, 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 very anal about that. Oh, what am I doing? We actually need to end the episode. Well, you know what? Stick with me till I get to the garage, and then I'll end the episode. Oh, okay. I'll end the episode at the garage. I should have thought that was coming, but I read that that the problem was only one way. Apparently, the problem is two-way, and the thing is, it only covers one lane going in one direction, and then both lanes in the other. And there's more problems like that. There are more problems like that on this map. I don't know where they are, but there are more problems. Hello, floaty trees. It's like I said, it's the problem with mods. You get playing with mods, and it gets very difficult to go back to the vanilla version of the game, no matter how much of the vanilla version there is. So I will continue to play even though there are roadblocks, gaping holes in the world, floating trees, hills, fences, whatever, you know. I'm just, it really bothers me because that's something that's beyond my control. I was half watching out for it, which is why I spotted it before we hit it. But on the other hand, I was also very, very much into not only what I was saying, but in my head I was like, well, everything reports that the problem's only one way. Yeah, it was probably because most people are like me and they drive on the outside or mid lane, where that was on the inside lane. Because it doesn't look like you hit it on the outside lane. I wonder what all these truckers would think. They see this big Merc hauling this big trailer with a Liara paint job on it, thundering by at 110 kilometers an hour. First, they'd probably be wondering how the hell I got the governor off, how I haven't been pulled over and arrested already. this garage is further away than I thought. Okay, here's the exit for it. Really? Service. Put out more money. While I'm here, I don't know. While I'm here, might as well just see. I believe that's a non-lift. And then this has the lift. I still couldn't afford it. It's a 6x2. It's better than what I have. Yeah, let's go with this one. Because I like the blue-white truck more than I like the black. Yeah. And then new bull bars I'm not interested in. I really don't think that helps anything. And nuts if I want, centers. All this good stuff. Which I won't get yet. I'm just gonna confirm the order there. There we go. And at least now we got a better chassis. So yeah, I'm going this way. Take a quick look here. Yeah, that's much better. Now we look at least we look like a proper truck. Sorry, proper to me is 2 axles on the back. Yeah, that's definitely much better. Oops. One. So pick up another recruitment agency by going this way. That's why I went this way. Another needless detour on our trip. I don't... Oh, right. We're supposed to end the episode. You know what? All right, folks. I hope you've enjoyed watching this episode as much as I've been enjoying bringing it to you before it gets any longer. Uh, yeah, what can I say? Bit of a cock up. Not my fault. The speeding ticket and obviously bumping the police car was my fault, but other than that, not my fault. But that's going to be me done for this episode, like I said. We'll have to see what happens with net neutrality. I firmly hope and believe that the people that are going to fight this in court are going to come through. It's already been fought in court once. So, here we go again. Until next time, folks, it's going to be one big bugger, and I'm going to be signing out. I'll see you then.